Critic, presented by I'm No Genius. You've got Eli Burgett here alongside my fellow cinephile, Camden Primer. Cam, how you doing?
So well, Mr. Burgett, how are you? This is my first incompetent critic. I've definitely been a critic of yours, but never incompetent.
Yeah, I love to tell people that I'm my own worst critic, but then in those moments, I forget that Camden Primer does exist. So,
Always here for you, buddy.
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's your first time on The Incompetent Critic. Are you honored to be here?
Beyond honored. Next time, No Genius podcast, we'll talk about why this is an incompetent critic and not just your typical episode. But yeah, besides that, super thrilled to be here.
Super, super thrilled. Well, Cam, I can tell you why you haven't been on any Incompetent Critic episodes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I can tell you why that you haven't been on. Number one, we did Game of Thrones. That was our first Incompetent Critic ever. You fell asleep during the first Game of Thrones episode, did you not?
Yeah, no, I'll pass. I'll pass on that.
And then the follow-up, we did Breaking Bad. Have you seen Breaking Bad?
I've seen Need for Speed and Jesse Pinkman's in that.
Okay, let's never bring up that movie ever again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then after that, we did a slew, or I should say I did a slew of my own little fantastical episodes of my own. Yeah, we did The Walking Dead, we did Harry Potter, we did Lord of the Rings. Again, by we, I mean me. All me. Edited, videoed, directed by me. It is what it is. But you're here now, and that's the most important thing.
Super pumped to be here. I'm starting to get more into movies because when I was in school, I was a nerd, so I would do school. And if there was a movie on, I'd sit down and watch, but I was never scrolling Netflix. Now, during the summertime when I get home from work, I just find whatever movie I can find that sounds interesting, and I watch it.
Attaboy.
Also, I've also learned a fun little trick here. If you watch a movie while you're running on the treadmill, it still sucks, just slightly less.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've come to find that if you watch a movie whilst running on the treadmill and it's like a battle sequence, like a medieval charging sequence, you just feel amped up. You feel like you're running with the armies. And for that brief little, I would say 30-second, burst,
Yeah.
you feel like a man.
Yeah. Fastest mile I've ever run on a treadmill. I was actually watching Schindler's List.
Okay. Not exactly a movie that gets you pumped up.
Oh. I've never seen that movie. I just know it's about the Nazis.
Yeah, it's about that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Isn't it black and white?
It is black and white.
Should I watch it?
Yeah, I'd give it a watch for sure.
I've heard it's a classic. It's Spielberg, correct?
Spielberg, yep.
Yeah, I feel like I should watch it. I want to watch that. Don't hate me. I've never seen Silence of the Lambs.
You got to watch Silence of the Lambs, dude.
Yeah, I've heard that's good. I want to watch Usual Suspects. I've heard that's good. Kaiser Soze. I get all the references, just never seen the full movie.
You got to watch the full. I mean, I understand what you're talking about. Just watching, TikToks or YouTube videos talking about, and you get the you get the gist of it, but you got to watch the full movie to understand all of it.
Yeah, I know. I have to.
Well, Cam, today we're going to talk about a movie. Well, really a couple of movies that, you and I. This is probably our most shared interest together. I think this movie franchise.
Just like you and I as a whole, friendship period.
I think this is really what our friendship was built upon, because before this whole movie franchise came out, we weren't really that close. But yeah. I think this really brought us closer together. And without any further ado, I'm talking about the Deadpool series.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. When we met in second grade, there was nothing there. Absolutely nothing.
No chemistry and, no really future for our friendship. But at the end of the day, we built a friendship based upon this franchise.
Yes, we did. We did.
The Deadpool franchise came out in 2016 with the movie Deadpool, featuring Ryan Reynolds.
Yes. Are we going to start there? Or
I'm thinking because Cam, you and I, we just watched the latest installment in the franchise and possibly the final installment, Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm thinking we focus on that, But let's do a quick little recap. How did we get to where we are today? 2016, it was a long time ago, man.
Yeah. I think the world ended in 2016. This is a little off topic, but I think that happened.
We reached the peak of humanity in 2016.
Yeah, that was forever ago. It's been heavy downhill since. But Deadpool was one of the reasons it was peaked. First time I watched Deadpool was with you in Wheeling, West Virginia at the West Liberty basketball camp. I'd heard about it. One of my friends on our AAU team, Jake McConaughey, he went to the theater to see it. His dad didn't realize how raunchy it was, but he said it was really funny. And then you put it up on an illegal streaming site.
Yep,
that's Eli Burgett, a legal streaming site. If the feds are listening, and it was hysterical. I couldn't believe what I was watching. What was it, 7th grade?
Yeah, it was around then. Yeah,
going into 8th grade.
Yeah, I've actually never heard a curse word in film before up until that point. So it was a bit of an experience for me as well.
So you got all of them.
I got literally everything I could have experienced. I got it from that movie.
Yeah, no, I remember watching it and thinking this is incredible. I want to be this. Not really, but kind of.
I mean, and Cam, in some ways, you kind of are that.
Elaborate.
I mean, you give off a Ryan Reynolds vibe. That's just kind of who you are. You are such a Deadpool in your own right.
Stop it. Thank you. Keep going.
And Cam, by the end of this video, we might circle back to this in the end. I think we can all find a little Deadpool inside of all of us. That came out wrong. But I think we could find a little Deadpool on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Save that. That's going to be the closer.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna bookmark that, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna put a pin in it. We're gonna come back to it. But first things first, Deadpool 1, 2016. Let's go back in time. What do you remember about Deadpool 1? Because I remember very little.
I'm gonna give you the breakdown of everything that just off the top of my head that I can remember.
Okay.
I remember watching it on that springy bunk bed.
Yes.
Without the top bunk. I had no prior knowledge of any type of X-Men. I knew Wolverine existed. Charles Xavier was a thing. That's it. So I didn't know how he correlated into. I knew he was Marvel, but that's it. And I feel like it was the perfect origin story because it went all the way back to how he got his ugly face and his powers. And then I feel like it was kind of not rushed at the end, but he just fights the bad guy. But what was that giant ship they were on?
It was the helicarrier.
For what though?
I don't know what. I think it some people had theories that it was the helicarrier from the Nick Fury and the Shield, that whole thing, but that was never confirmed. Never confirmed.
Sense.
Yeah.
Kind of not really, because it's a different universe.
Different universe entirely, so it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's Deadpool, and he's insane. Because if you remember correctly, the story is told out of order, is it not?
Yeah, he starts on the bridge trying to find Ajax, and then it jumps to the flashback.
Playing the song Shoop by Salt and Pepper.
There was a point in time where I knew every word to that song. And it was before Deadpool even came out. That was just because SiriusXM had the 90s on 9 channel, and Salt and Pepper owned that channel.
Yeah.
Banger.
So I guess you could say that Deadpool immediately resonated with you because of his incredible music taste.
Yeah, every Deadpool movie has the perfect soundtrack.
I would agree with that. I mean, we're talking about Shoop. We're talking about Careless Whisper by Mr. George Michael. In the latest movie, opening up with Bye Bye Bye.
Bye.
And then Iris at the end by the Goo Goo Dolls. Holy crap. Great soundtracks.
Come on.
You can't get much better than that. But Deadpool 1, I really liked it. And the reason I liked it is because Ryan Reynolds really likes Deadpool. And I gotta hand it to him. His passion shows through for this character.
Yeah. Kind of jump forward a little bit, but every time I just see these random interviews that he's doing about the new movie now, and he talks about how he was in the editing room for months Like him and Sean Levy, the director. Like he was in there with them. Is he credentialed to do that? I understand it's his movie and he like helped produce or whatever. But he's also the actor. Like, can he do that?
Well, apparently, at least for the latest movie, Ryan Reynolds was like one of like five writers that they had. They had five writers to write all of these incredibly raunchy jokes.
Yeah. And it was just Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I think he was credited as a writer because he does a lot of improv during his stuff. I remember from the first Deadpool movie, especially the outtakes where he's getting chained up and he's going to be experimented on. It says, "You're going to leave me all alone here with Busta Rhymes. You're going to leave me all alone here with less angry Rosie O'Donnell. You're going to leave me all alone here with, hey, you guys." and it just kept going. And that's what makes the movie great. A lot of improv.
What do you recollect about Deadpool 1?
I remember laughing the hardest I've ever laughed up in all of my 13 years. Hardest I've ever laughed for a movie.
I was just gonna say, what also made that really funny is we were 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
We were at peak humor.
Yes, peak humor.
As a male, once you hit 14 years old, your humor never increases. Nothing your humor is 14 years old for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's what Deadpool played on. And it plays every time.
Yeah. I mean, we were at the perfect age for Deadpool to just, take us in, just really this is a bad metaphor, but we were at the perfect age for Deadpool to make us laugh at all the time. Like every single joke was hilarious. And the story was told out of order. I kind of liked the love story between him and Vanessa, and I know they really focus on that for all of the movies. So, I liked it. It was serviceable. I will say I wasn't blown away by the villain, but at the same time, I don't think I was supposed to be, because even Deadpool's making fun of him. He's not supposed to take him seriously, basically.
Yeah. He was a mutant. He just couldn't feel pain. That was his power.
Yeah, couldn't feel pain, and I guess was pretty good at healing himself. He didn't have a healing factor, but like he
could ride motorcycles.
Yes, and do karate.
He had that strong broad always walked around with him.
Yes, played by the MMA fighter who recently got canceled for.
Oh, she did? For what?
I don't know the specifics of it, but it had to do something with her political views. So we won't even dive into that because we know very little. Well, thanks, Cam. I was trying to save us both there, but thanks for that. Yeah. But yes, villains in that movie, not the best. Ajax, named after a dish soap. It is what it is.
Good line. Good line for that movie.
Yes, very good line.
TJ Miller was great in that movie. And it sucks that TJ Miller has fallen off hard since then.
Yeah, apparently TJ Miller is not a very kind person, which, in Hollywood, who is a kind person these days? But TJ Miller is aggressively not kind.
Why would he bash Ryan Reynolds? I mean, even if Ryan Reynolds was a dickhead, why would he bash him to the point where he hasn't been anything since. The only thing I've seen TJ Miller do is Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, and there's a stand-up clip of him wearing a welding mask that was pretty funny. But it's just a clip. That's all I know of him. Other
than that, just vanished off the face of the earth. I mean, he bit the hand that fed him.
Essentially, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, like, in all aspects.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, and as we're going to see later on down the line, Deadpool is Marvel Jesus.
Marvel Jesus, yes.
So,
should we jump to Deadpool 2?
I think we should jump to Deadpool 2. Now's a good time, but, we brought it up before. Careless Whisper to finish Deadpool 1.
Wham!
Perfect.
Wham!
Wham! Deadpool's why can't I talk?
You got it.
Peculiar music taste. It's just unbelievable. And we love the way he finished up that movie. But right now, let's move on.
I did watch the previous 3 Wolverine movies in preparation for this newest one. What is it? The end credit scene of Deadpool 1 when he's dressed as Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
Classic. He says he already knew there was going to be a second one. He said in Deadpool 2 we're going to have Cable.
Yep.
What's he say? Who's gonna play him? And then Kirsten Dunst, is that who?
He says like Deadpool, and we'll take all we can get.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes, but Deadpool 2. Deadpool blows him to die in this one too, but unfortunately for Deadpool, he can't die.
Well, he kills himself because Vanessa died.
Yes.
But he's also depressed. That doesn't help.
Yeah. And the whole time, Deadpool, this is really an emotional movie for Deadpool because Vanessa dies. He has nothing left to live for.
Yeah, except all he does is live.
Yeah, which is, Wolverine. Oh, Wolverine, in an attempt to find purpose with his life, he joins the X-Men as a trainee.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, one of the funniest scenes in the movie where he's wearing the trainee vest and he goes to rescue Fire Fist.
Yeah.
And end for some reason.
Works for me.
Works. Yeah, I like
time travel. Time travel, big part of the movie.
Yes,
big part of the Marvel universe these days. It actually killed Iron Man, if you think about it.
Yeah, had a lot of fun with Deadpool and X-Force. We got to talk about X-Force, dude. X-Force, a little bit derivative of X-Men, and they all perished, sadly, by diving out of a plane and not taking into account the high. Not here, is he? He may be running late.
Classic.
Yes, classic.
Matt Damon also sneaky in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, as a beer belly redneck.
A fat redneck talking about toilet paper and how he wipes his.
Xavier's helmet was hilarious. Yeah. So Deadpool 2, I would say it's a little bit of a step up from Deadpool. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Like I mentioned earlier, I had to dive back in time to watch the former Wolverine movies. Not all the X-Men, just X-Men Origins Wolverine, The Wolverine, and Logan. They're actually not that bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're kind of corny, but like Logan was the best out of all of them.
Well, yeah.
I could give or take with all the Japanese stuff in the Wolverine, but it was still entertaining. That probably sounds extremely racist.
That sounded pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing with the Japanese. It's just what the hell is this Canadian bulldog doing in Japan?
He's like a samurai, dude.
Sure. And I will say, the scene where he gets blown up in Nagasaki is awesome. He's just tendons, and then he heals. That was pretty cool.
That was very cool.
I'll give him that. But yeah, so I did that, and I mean, it's Wolverine. He's been playing the character for 24 years. He's a legend. I've never been more excited for a movie in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, we saw the movie. The movie came out, technically Friday, but they were showing it on Thursday night. We were both busy, so we bought tickets for that Saturday at 9:45 a.m. to see the movie. We had breakfast in the movie theater, and the breakfast was a shit ton of popcorn.
Yeah, large soda, popcorn.
Pumped. I watched every video that came out on this thing. I had post notifications set for Ryan Reynolds in case he dropped a teaser trailer. And everything from every trailer, like, oh, they're giving away too much. Everything that happened in the movie that was given in the trailers happened in the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. And Cam, I'm thankful we saw the movie that early on that day, because I'm not kidding. 5 minutes after we walked out of the theater, I get on TikTok. For You page flooded with spoilers.
Yeah, I know. We had to get there. We had to see it.
We had to see it, and we did see it. Now, before we dive into the actual plot of the movie, initial reactions from Mr. Primer.
Should we give the spoiler alert, the blinking, flashing spoiler alert right now?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and give the spoiler alert. Look, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know what you're doing here. Turn back right now. Go away and watch the movie, then come back.
Well, finish this. Actually, when you're in the movie...
We've already got the view. We're fine.
When you're in the... Just let it play. Let it... Click or restart. Show your dog, show your cat. They're going to want to hear this.
In fact, watch this breakdown while you're watching the movie. I'm sure your neighbors in the seats next to you will understand.
Yes. Actually, just airdrop it to everyone in the theater.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Initial reactions is the best one by far.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, there's nothing more to say. It was the best one.
I think so as well. Yeah. Because
You
It,
go.
I mean, it had everything going for it. You know, by far the biggest budget out of all of them so far. I mean, the Cable and Deadpool, team up in the last movie was okay. It was serviceable, but Deadpool and Wolverine, even better, infinitely better.
I mean, Deadpool's been talking about Wolverine for the past 2 movies.
Yeah, and in the opening scene, let's just dive right into the opening scene. We hear Deadpool say, "How are we going to include Wolverine in this movie without desecrating his legacy?" And he quite simply said, "We're not." And he tried to dig up Logan's corpse and then realized that he's actually dead. So,
yes. And then proceeds to kill every single TVA agent with every bone and Wolverine's body.
And also hitting every single step of the dance to Bye Bye Bye.
Yes.
Which I've seen, honestly, I haven't seen too many opening scenes like that in ever.
Yeah.
And it blew me away. I was like, okay, we're in for a wild ride right off the bat.
I just love the pop culture cameos that Ron Rhodes throws out when he does his lines.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, the human body has 206 bones. 207 when I watched Gossip Girl. Blake Lively was in Gossip Girl. It's a dick joke. We're 14. It's always funny.
Yeah. Just like that, I'm transported back to 7th grade. Oh, my gosh. So funny.
Yes.
And, from that point onward, Deadpool, he realizes from what's Mr. Paradox for the TVA, he realizes that, hey, your universe is dying, and I'm going to destroy it, basically. So Deadpool goes out, tries to get himself a new Wolverine to fill the shoes of the old one, and we get a ton of cameos from the comic book, starting off with little 5'3" Wolverine, comic accurate Wolverine, which, by the way, took me off guard, and it was hilarious.
Yes. Like, shockingly small.
Yeah, which I've always been in favor, I wouldn't mind seeing a shorter actor play Wolverine. And then we saw it and I was like, never mind.
No thanks. No, thank you.
Sorry, Taron Egerton. Sorry, Daniel Radcliffe. It's not going to happen. It's, it's not manly enough. I'm sorry. But
we saw the Wolverine that fights Hulk. That was awesome. Wish they would have fought.
Which, by the way, really cool suit. The little brown and little off yellow suit. Loved it.
Kind of a sidebar. Are they ever going to bring Angry Hulk back?
Dude, I wouldn't mind if they did. I need me some Angry Hulk.
They have to. I mean, Smart Hulk.
I mean, just that little 3-second appearance from Hulk in Deadpool and Wolverine was the most excited I've been to see Hulk in forever.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? When they showed Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
Yeah. I love that scene because number one, you don't expect it to be him. It only shows his back first off, and then Deadpool steps out of the portal. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's the whole package right there." Yeah. And he keeps walking. He says, "From behind, you look like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
the Cavalrine." And he just says, "We'll treat you so much better than those guys down the street." He's talking about DC and how how Cavill was done dirty by them. And I've seen many people have mixed reactions to it. I wouldn't mind seeing Henry Cavill be Wolverine in the future.
I think he'd be a great Wolverine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they should do something different with the character, but I think he'd be the perfect actor for it. I mean, he's already shredded.
Yeah.
He likes these fantasy roles. I mean, he's in all kinds of strange stuff like that. He's already been a superhero. Did I mention he's jacked?
Have you mentioned that he's beautiful? He's gorgeous.
10. He's a 10.
Yeah.
I'm straight. Kinda. He's a 10.
Yeah, both of us, couple of 2 straight bros. Just
sometimes.
Saying. He's an attractive dude. That's about it. Yeah.
Gassing our boys up.
Yeah. So Deadpool, he meets a bunch of Wolverines. Eventually, he finds the worst Wolverine. Apparently, even though he's really not that much different from the Wolverine we've always known.
Yeah, no, he seems the exact same.
He seems pretty same, except a couple more F-bombs. Anyways, they get sent into the void, and the first person they run into, Cam?
Before we get into this, because this is a big plot point.
It's a big plot point.
Can we go back to the beginning where he's trying to join the Avengers?
Yeah, that's right. He did try to join the Avengers in the beginning.
So that it says that takes place on Earth 616, which
Yeah.
is the sacred timeline.
Yep.
But it said 6 years ago, which would have been 2018.
Mm-hmm.
The current MCU is set in 2027?
2026, 2027, something like that.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 years ahead. So unless this all took place before,
Which I think it did take place before. But I think he tried to join the MCU before Tony Stark died, because he's talking to Happy Hogan, and he says, Deadpool says, I was expecting to see the big guy during this. And Happy Hogan says, oh yeah, he doesn't do these sort of things. And Deadpool says cameos, and he says, no, entry-level interviews.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, back when he was still alive. We could have seen RDJ in this movie, but we'll talk about this later. He's got other things planned right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, they get sent into the void. By the way, Wolverine wearing his iconic yellow suit for the first time ever. Beautiful.
Yeah. He looked dope.
I loved it. But
I will say, this might be an unpopular opinion. He looked great in it. It did kind of take away from like the angriness of Wolverine.
Yeah, but
I just think it's because it's been 24 years of him in opaque dark colors just being pissed off at everything. And he's finally got bright yellow on.
Yeah. I think it was I think it kind of served as a juxtaposition a little bit. Here's the grumpiest, most messed up Wolverine out there, and he's wearing the brightest suit out of all of them.
Yeah.
So I think if we were in Mrs. Paulo's 10th grade English class, then that's good symbolism right there.
Very good pull. Shout out Miss Paulo.
Shout out Miss Paulo. This podcast would not have been possible without her.
Facts.
So, anyways.
To some degree.
Yes, to some degree. Wolverine and Deadpool, they're in the void. Who's the first person they run into, Cam?
Chris Evans, Captain America.
Oh, no, not Captain America. Because Deadpool starts to say Avengers Assemble, and Chris Evans goes, flame on.
I could have sworn it was a Captain America. It didn't even cross my mind that it would have been Johnny Flame.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Human Torch back in action after, I want to say, 20 years of being on the sideline, and basically Chris Evans being a whole nother character.
Yeah.
So
one of the biggest
ever in the superhero genre, and he's back as the Human Torch, and you could tell something was up because he starts like cursing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it was just like, something's not right. It's not the Captain America we know. But eventually, they all get captured by the main villain of the movie, Cassandra Nova. What'd you think of Cassandra Nova?
Creepy. She did. The actress did a really good job. Strange, scary, best villain.
Oh yeah. In this series, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Though I would say her motivations towards the end to just destroy everything, little,
Yeah. Why was she doing that?
I have no idea. When Wolverine and Deadpool got sent back to their timeline, from the void, I was thinking oh, okay, Wolverine just had his character arc, and then it's about to wrap up right here. But no, we got a whole sort of final fight scene to do.
Yeah.
But anyways, they get taken to Cassandra Nova's lair, and Deadpool starts mouthing off, talking about how Johnny's talking all this smack about her, and Cassandra Nova just doesn't even hesitate, just kills him right off the bat.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And Deadpool says something like, "Do you have any idea what he was doing with the budget? We're all mourning here."
Again, when he breaks the fourth wall.
Yes, very, very funny. Anyways, Deadpool and Wolverine, they escape, and they run into even more cameos. Who do we see next, Cam?
Directly after that,
we see.
Are you talking about the four main ones? The four big ones?
Four main ones.
X-23, Wolverine's daughter.
Played by Daphne Keane.
Spanish. Do you know that?
Is she actually Spanish?
Yeah, because in Logan she was speaking Spanish. I thought she was some type of Latino. She's a Spanish actress from
Interesting.
Spain. Yeah.
Okay.
Elektra, played by Jennifer Garner.
Which, by the way, hasn't lost a step in like 20 years. She
No,
looks amazing.
Just the exact same.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum as Gambit,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize that he was ever in the position to play Gambit.
So, little detour here. I got the backstory on this.
Talk to me.
Channing Tatum was originally set to play Gambit all the way back in 2006 for X-Men: The Last Stand. But rewrites, whatever, it all fell through. And then he was supposed to come back and play Gambit in 2009 for X-Men Origins Wolverine. Mm-hmm. But Channing Tatum was already contractually obligated to do these movies called the G.I. Joe movies, which, by the way, horrible movies. Horrible films. But in a way, Channing Tatum kind of dodged a bullet by not being an X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Very true.
So trading a bad movie for a bad movie right there.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum was eventually supposed to come back and play Gambit, like for real, like have his own movie, when James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, all of them were doing their X-Men movies. Plans fell through once again. And after all that time, Ryan Reynolds is just like, you know what, enough's enough. I'm putting you in my movie.
Yes.
And what a guy for doing that.
Was his Louisiana accent supposed to be so exaggerated?
I didn't understand a word he was saying, and it made me look up what a Cajun accent actually sounds like someone who's actually from the Cajun, like Louisiana country, and it doesn't sound that dissimilar from it. It sounds pretty accurate.
No, Jimmy and I used to watch Swamp People all the time in our dorm room. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
I mean, and then the final cameo, most surprising because. Surprising for the movie, but also surprising in real life. Wesley Snipes returns as Blade.
The guy...
Because we've never seen Blade since the 90s. Or I guess 2004 in Blade Trinity. Ryan Reynolds worked with him in Blade Trinity. And Wesley Snipes was difficult to work with, and they didn't like each other in real life. Yeah. And then he shows up in Ryan Reynolds' movie. Come on.
Yeah.
Suck that, TJ Miller. Suck that.
Seriously. That's how you mend bridges right there, with millions of dollars thrown at them for a paycheck. And honestly, Blade is the guy who kind of started all of it, 1998, first Blade movie, first superhero movie, really big superhero movie before X-Men, before all that. He comes back, and I saw an interview with Wesley Snipes a little bit after the movie came out, and he's talking about Blade, and he's just like, oh yeah, by the way, me and Ryan, we've actually liked each other the entire time, but we in public, we've just been going back and forth with each other, just like as our own little inside joke. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't believe that at all.
But given the way that Ryan speaks about his own wife, it wouldn't surprise me.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, some of the stuff he says about Blake Lively, it doesn't surprise me that, they've had this joke going for so long. But seeing those four characters return, awesome. So awesome. And to compare this to another multiversal movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, these cameos, these characters actually had a purpose in the story.
Facts. The other ones didn't. They were just putting them in there.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds addresses that. Enough of the shitty previous Marvel movies, just random cameos. These ones are actually going to mean something. And they do. They help Deadpool and Wolverine live. Yeah.
I mean, Channing Tatum's fight scenes as Gambit, I'm not going to lie, for a character that I've never seen and never interacted with before.
Awesome.
I was hyped.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see, honestly, his cool, fighting style with the cards and his staff and everything. It was awesome. And I loved watching that final battle. I would watch it again.
I told Alexa tonight I want to go back to the theater and watch it again.
Yeah, I went to the theater the other day to see Twisters with a female, and I was hoping that we could see Deadpool and Wolverine again, but she really wanted to see Glenn Powell in a white shirt and a cowboy hat.
Can't blame her.
I can't blame, and for what it's worth, we had a great time. The movie was amazing. So,
did you like Twisters?
I like Twisters. In a side note, I do like Twisters. It was good.
I did too. Alexa and Collins, they're like, there was no plot. It's a movie about tornadoes. What'd you expect? They're trying to catch tornado or end tornadoes, or what the hell they're doing. I enjoyed it. They look like real tornadoes too, so that's a plus.
Yeah, it's all about spectacle, and Deadpool and Wolverine, the final battle, packs a lot of spectacle in it.
Yes.
because we see about like 150 Deadpools all team up to take down Deadpool and Wolverine, and we get some more cameos via voiceover.
Yes.
We hear the voice of Blake Lively as Lady Pool, which
Yes.
was a nice one. Cowboy Pool was Matthew McConaughey.
Was it? All right. I wasn't. It sounded super familiar. I didn't realize it was actually him. That's awesome.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. And Kid Pool and Baby Pool were actually
His kids.
His kids. Yeah, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' kids.
That's awesome. Welsh Pool was Paul Mullen, I believe his name is. Plays on Wrexham. Canada Pool was there. I don't know who played him, but Canada Pool was there.
Yeah.
I believe Rob McElhaney played a TVA agent.
Yes. Yeah, I think I saw that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just know if you're in a Ryan Reynolds movie, he's going to take care of you.
Who played Headpool?
I don't know who played Headpool.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, you might need to look that one up. But in the same vein as cameos for Deadpool and everything, there was a cameo that I did not expect. We saw Ryan Reynolds' twin brother cameo as Nice Pool. He is credited as Gordon Reynolds at the end of the movie.
Is he really?
Yeah, he really is. Which, by the way, is the funniest cameo of them all.
That's great.
Because
he was really funny.
He was very funny.
Regenerate.
He could not regenerate, which was very sad. It was sad to see him go. And I think Deadpool said something. He died doing what he loved. And Wolverine said, he died of murder.
Nathan Fillion is Headpool.
Nice.
Nathan Fillion's set to play the new Green Lantern. Isn't he a little old to play the new Green Lantern? Also, is that why Ryan Reynolds put him in this movie? Because that would be really funny too.
I don't know. I mean,
from one Green Lantern to another.
That would be very, very funny. But I think Nathan Fillion, he's made a couple cameos in other Marvel movies too.
Yeah, this is his fourth MCU movie,
which is insane, by the way. But yeah, a lot of cameos from Deadpool's right there. And we see Deadpool, our main Deadpool, and Wolverine come out to face all these Deadpools. And Wolverine puts his mask, puts on the cowl for the first time ever. And it looks, how do I phrase this? It looks beautiful.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
It fit, which, having white eyes on the mask, not something I expected.
Cool.
It was so cool. Yeah, very, very cool. I enjoyed it. And they do battle, and unfortunately for them, all of the Deadpools regenerate.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter shows up because, to call back from the beginning of the movie, we are Deadpool. And Deadpool says, "Well, no, I'm Deadpool. You are Peter." And Peter shows up wearing a Deadpool costume, and everyone's like, "Holy crap! They got a Peter!"
Yeah, I mean, you can't not love Sugar Bear.
Yeah, gotta love Sugar Bear.
Didn't his daughter in real life, the actor's daughter, die or something?
Who?
The guy who plays Peter.
I don't know.
Either died or super sick because the movie's dedicated to her and someone else. Her or him. He had a sick child at some point, alive or dead. Either way, condolences.
Yeah, seriously, that's terrible. But he gave a great performance.
I could also be extremely wrong.
Could also,
fact check for us in the comments.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. But yeah, eventually Deadpool and Wolverine, they try to stop Cassandra Nova from destroying all timelines, which, again, I don't know why she wants to destroy all universes, but it is what it is. And they go down and they try to destroy the machine that's destroying all the universes, and they lock arms and they like destroy the machine, and Wolverine's shirt bursts open, and we get to see Hugh Jackman's glorious six-pack abs.
Yes.
And you asked me in the theater, do you think those were real? And I was like, do you think Hugh Jackman would use CGI? It looked real to me.
I mean, they were something.
They were really
It would be
something.
funny if we get like a first time listener watching this just because they like Deadpool and Wolverine, like these guys are gay.
Yeah,
Look at
seriously.
these, I mean, talk about Glenn Powell and Henry Cavill and Hugh Jackman's rock solid abs that
I
are
mean,
perfect in every way, shape, and form.
hey, Cam, we've said it once, we've said it 100 times. We are,
Sweaty and
yeah, we are,
hairy.
we, we are reactive creatures. Okay, we're gonna react to what we see. If they
Yeah,
throw that on screen, we have to say our thoughts. It is
that's what
what
we
it is.
saw. That's what we saw.
Yeah, and everyone thinks that Deadpool and Wolverine are dead, but they come back out after Deadpool says he has risen, baby girl, and Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls plays, and it's honestly a beautiful moment. I've actually never heard Iris before, and it made me want to add it to my playlist.
You've never heard that song?
Never heard that song before.
That's an all timer.
Yeah,
That's a great song.
I know that now,
Yeah.
and my goodness, it's a good song, great scene, and Deadpool and Wolverine they save their timeline and they kind of live happily ever after.
Yeah, why did everyone else have to go back to their home, but this Wolverine could just go to Deadpool's timeline?
Because Cam, that's the way it was.
Works for me.
You know, you can't. I'm just. I'm calling it as I see it. That's the way it was. Happy ending, and then we get to the post-credit scene for the movie.
Oh, probably the best post-credit scene ever.
I think so. Remember earlier when we said, oh yeah, Deadpool, he's saying Johnny Storm said all this stuff about Cassandra Nova and that led to him being killed. Apparently Johnny actually did say all this stuff. He said, and I'll tell you who her is. Cassandra Nova, megalomaniacal psychotic butthole, a finger licking dead inside dime store nut milk. And she can lick my delicious cinnamon ring and kick rocks all the way to bald hell. And it was like Chris Evans, who basically has said 3 cuss words in his entire time in the MCU, just got to let loose there. And his Boston accent really came out in that scenario. And it was hilarious.
Awesome. It was perfect.
I loved it. Cam, thoughts on the movie?
I have 2 questions for you. The scene with Thor crying holding Deadpool, is there any validity to that? Will we see that again?
Cam, I guarantee you we will see that again.
Okay.
Because now this isn't small league. Oh, Deadpool's going to set up, future plot lines for Deadpool. Deadpool is now in the MCU. He's setting up stuff for the grand picture. And I imagine that him and Thor will have a close relationship in the future.
Second question. This mentions how Logan was the anchor being of whatever universe they're in. Does that mean that Tony Stark was the anchor being of Earth 616?
It wouldn't surprise me if Tony Stark was the anchor being of Earth 616. And maybe our universe, our MCU universe, is dying. Which is sad to see.
That's what I'm seeing. And I'm super excited. I think Marvel's back.
You think Marvel's back?
After one movie, I know it was all Ron Reynolds. Sean Levy did a great job. Hugh Jackman did a great job. I know it was all Ron Reynolds. This movie had no choice but to be good. There was no way it was going to be bad. But, in the movie, Ron Reynolds addressed all the things that are making Marvel shitty. It rushed out movies, the cameos that had nothing to do with the plot, and then just the shoving down our throat the random variations of different characters. He said all of that. But he also had all of that in his movie, and he made it work.
Yeah.
So, Kevin Feige understands that there's something... He's missed the mark on a lot of things, and I think he's coming back.
He understands that change needs to happen, and while Deadpool and Wolverine is not going to did not solve all the problems of the MCU, it definitely, if the box office is any indication, definitely reinvigorated the hype, the feeling of a Marvel movie, and people are rushing to the cinemas to see what the hype is all about. And frankly, I think it lived up to the hype.
Oh, it absolutely. I mean, it was the best Deadpool in every Deadpool. There hasn't been a single bad Deadpool.
Yeah, best Deadpool movie, I would say. And I'd put it right up there for one of the best, like right up there with Logan as one of the best Wolverine movies as well. Because
Oh yeah,
because Wolverine has an actual character arc in a Deadpool movie,
yeah,
which is really cool. Because like if you remember the scene before they fight in the Honda Odyssey, which by the way, great fight sequence.
yeah.
Uh, Wolverine is basically like screaming at Deadpool, like I've never seen, like this, yelling at him this like that. Hugh Jackman gives an amazing performance, like an amazing dramatic performance.
Yeah. You know the movie was supposed to be called Deadpool and Friend?
Yeah, I saw that.
That would have been terrible.
It would have been terrible, but at the same time, wouldn't it have been so on point for Deadpool?
Yeah, absolutely. But Deadpool and Wolverine does sound a lot better.
It does sound a lot better. And for what it's worth, you know, I think Deadpool and Wolverine, if I'm just going to give it a score right now, I'm going to give it a solid 8.7 out of 10.
Wow, 8.7.
8.7.
I was gonna give it either a 9 flat or 8.9.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9 flat. I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, cameos galore, spectacle, fight sequences, dance sequences.
Yes.
It has 2 seconds from The Greatest Show, from The Greatest Showman. It's got love, it's got heartbreak, it's got everything you want in a superhero movie, and most of all, it's making a lot of money. And that's that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
What was my question? You think the Deadpool franchise is done for, or is over?
I think that there will be no more Deadpool standalone movies, but I think we will see Deadpool in other films in a supporting capacity.
How long?
Ryan Reynolds is almost 50, so he doesn't have much long left.
I know.
Well, unless he's like Hugh Jackman, till he's 90.
Until he's 90.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We have no idea what the future holds, but for now, I think we can safely say Deadpool overall, really good trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unexpected, but good.
For being a 20th Century Fox production. It was great. Also, I also loved the montage at the end during the credit scene of all those movies. That was good too.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, while introducing new characters to the MCU, also served to pay homage to the bygone Fox X-Men era, and I appreciated that. Even though I wasn't a big fan of those movies, you weren't a big fan of those movies. I appreciate the work they did.
Yep, heard that.
And today, I appreciate the work that we did. Cam, final thoughts before we wrap up.
Into that. You calling me Deadpool might be one of the best compliments you've ever given me, and I appreciate that.
Hey, man. I mean, it's the least I can do. I love you, buddy.
I love you, friend.
I mean, if you're Deadpool, I will always be your Wolverine.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Well, if the offer ever comes up, I will be your Wolverine.
Okay.
Let's have a life lesson for the kids to take home today.
Okay, is this a little crossover between I'm No Genius and The Incompetent Critic? Do you do that in The Incompetent Critic?
I mean, we haven't done a life lesson in The Incompetent Critic, so let's do one now.
Okay, life lesson. Do you have one off the top of your head? Maybe I'll play off of that.
I mean, I would say that life, it's not all fun and games, but it's also not all sadness and rain clouds. I think at the end of the day, we have something inside of us, a little hope, a little laughter inside of us. We have a little Deadpool inside of us, and that Deadpool really carries us on in our daily lives. And I think if we all learn to act a little more fun like Deadpool and sometimes a little more serious like Wolverine, then we'll be better human beings overall. It's about balance.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
So good, Sugar Bear. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. got choked up there for a second. I'm okay.
Let it out. Thank you.
Anything you want to add?
I love the movie theater. Go to the movie theater, watch this movie. It has nothing to do with the movie itself, but there's just something about a theater. It gets me going.
Yeah. Get outside and then get back inside to the movie theater.
Yep.
And then watch this movie. From everyone here at I'm No Genius, he's been Cam, I've been Eli. This has been The Incompetent Critic, presented by I'm No Genius. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next